So now we are early into the NBA season, and all I can say is, how good. Watching teams perform better than expected, seeing the new rules in play, and just watching players take that next step that everyone wanted to see. For me in particular, one player that has impressed me coming into the season is none other than Morant. I mean, how can you not like this guy? He plays hard, flashy, and just has the will, drive and passion for the game of basketball. Whether it's driving the lane and getting a freaky circus shot in the hoop, setting up his teammates for open looks, or just splashing them in from deep, there's no doubt in my mind that if Morant wants to do something on the offensive end, he's going to do it. Now, no, I'm not the first one to say it, and I probably won't be the last, but this season so far for Morant is scary similar to another explosive point guard who used to reign supreme on the NBA. We all know who I'm talking about here, and that's Derrick Rose. In this video, I want to dive deep into this comparison, what makes people believe in this, what separates the two players, and if this comparison is actually fair for both of these guys. Well, stick around to find out. As a point of reference, any stats that are used in this video will be taken from basketballreference.com, unless stated otherwise. Also, this comparison is obviously for pre-ACL injury Derrick Rose, as it's really unfair to compare the whole careers of the two players right now in both of their careers. Now to start off this comparison, we have to rewind all the way back to these guys' rookie seasons. In both of their rookie seasons, they were able to take out Rookie of the Year honours, being the main focal points on their respective teams. Derrick Rose was able to average 16.8 points, 6.3 assists, and 3.9 rebounds. So what were Ja's averages? Well, he averages 17.8 points, 7.3 assists, and 3.9 rebounds. These stats are scary similar, and it's almost like Morant saw Derrick Rose rookie season stats and said, I can do one better. Literally, 1 point and assist to be exact. While Derrick Rose was able to take the Bulls into the playoffs in his rookie season, Ja couldn't, although COVID-19 did play a part in that. Still, these players definitely elevated their teams when on the court. Not only are the stats from the rookie season similar, but their play styles is probably where most of these comparisons really come from. Both of these players in the early years love to get points in the paint. What usually is unheard of for point guards is what these guys are most comfortable with. They create separation easily, even from the most defensive-minded players in the league, and are able to finish at the rim, whether it's a ridiculous circus shot that you don't even know how I got it in, or just a powerful slam. These fellas undoubtedly do it better than the rest at their position. These fellas also have a sneaky mid-range game that they can fall back on when the paint is too crowded. I mean, they aren't up there with the elite at shooting, but it's respectable enough for defenders to pay attention or for them to fall back on when things aren't really going their way. What these guys also share is their ability to distribute the ball. Not in a way to boost stats, but they easily make their teammates better and are able to make the right decision that will get more points on the board for the team. Did I forget something? Alright, almost forgot. Both Derrick and Ja have the quote-unquote clutch gene. You look up Derrick Rose clutch moments on YouTube and your brain is taken back to memory lane, looking at all the amazing shots that Derrick Rose put together at the time of his young career. Now Ja hasn't played anywhere near as many games as Derrick Rose, but it's already evident that Ja can put together some real clutch moments that are absolutely mind-boggling that a player as young as him is able to produce in these moments. It really makes you think of, yeah, that's right, a young Derrick Rose. Some players just look comfortable in clutch moments, and it's fair to say that Morant and Derrick Rose are some of those players. Now it's the third year right now for Morant, and although it's early days, he's playing out of his skin right now. Almost like some people would say, playing like MVP Derrick Rose. MVP Derrick Rose was incredible for his time. He averaged 25 points, 7.7 assists, and was able to take the Bulls to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, besting out the Big Three in Miami. That's right, the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh Big Three. I should also mention that the supporting cast, although weren't superstars, were great complementary options and suited Derrick Rose's playstyle. The Bulls, however, would eventually get beaten in the Eastern Conference Finals by the Heat, and after that season, could never really hit the heights that they did before. Morant this season, although it's only been 7 games, has averages of 28.3 points and 7.7 assists. He's already put in a 40 point and 10 assist a game together, and something is telling me it won't be his last for the season. Unfortunately for Ja, Memphis haven't really got as many games go their way as they'd like, but they're missing some key players, and still gelling with some of the new ones. If Ja keeps up these numbers, there's a good chance that he could be in the conversation for MVP this season. However, I feel like it'll be harder to replicate the MVP Derrick Rose got, as A, the Bulls team of that year were a much more competitive team compared to this current Memphis team. B, the competition for this year's MVP is much more competitive compared to when D Rose won it in 2011. And C, the narratives for Morant to win MVP really isn't there right now, compared to the hype that Derrick was getting in 2011. So I've gone on and on about how much these two players have in common, especially for their performances for their age. But what exactly separates these two? Well, I feel like there's quite a fair bit, to be completely honest with you. One example is that Ja is a much better 3-point shooter at the same age. Obviously, this comes as the game has changed a fair bit since in the age that Rose won MVP. You could even argue that Rose is currently a better 3-point shooter now. The NBA relies heavily on the 3-point shot in this age, where D-Rose was getting inspiration from guys like Allen Iverson, creating his own shot through the dribble and finishing in the lane. Ja had the chance to grow up watching guys like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, guys that could literally pull up from anywhere in the court and put the ball in the bucket. And Ja has definitely taken inspiration from those guys. Another thing that separates these two are their frames. Although Derrick Rose is 1 inch shorter at 6'2", he weighs almost 30 pounds more. This allowed Derrick Rose to use more of his strength and almost bully the other guards that he went up against. Ja obviously can't do this as well, and will sometimes struggle with bigger, more physical players. Derrick Rose, in my opinion, was also a much better defender due to his physicality. And although these players do average around the same steals, Derrick Rose wouldn't get bullied as much by the opposing guards as much as what Ja would. So after all this, is it fair to say that Ja Morant is Derrick Rose 2.0? Me, personally, I don't really think so. Now yes, that might sound a bit crazy coming from a guy who spent all this time telling you how much these two players have in common. But honestly, I feel like we need to let Ja become his own player. We are too quick in today's age to put a label on someone. Now there's no doubt in my mind that Ja Morant has based a lot of his game around Derrick Rose, in particular pre-ACL injury Derrick Rose. But you can also see shades of Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, even some things we've never seen before. I feel like it's unfair to say that a player is just a clone of another player, or a more improved version. Don't get me wrong with Derrick Rose either, because he is an amazing player in his own right. Even after his injuries, to do what he's done to get to where he is now and still playing in the NBA is pretty remarkable. But just let Ja Morant be Ja Morant, as he's an amazing player in his own right with only the best years ahead of him. Like always, thank you guys for watching, and it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could like this video and subscribe to my channel. And leave a comment down below on what you think about Ja Morant and people comparing him to Derrick Rose. Cheers, and have a good one.